Welcome to the Marketing Industry Podcast, where real conversations meet real strategy. Each episode, we dive into the industries that keep Australia moving, talking with the leaders, innovators, and everyday operators shaping what's next. So settle in, turn it up, and let's get into it.
Hi everybody, Michelle O'Hara here. Today we're with Michael Tyrrell from Baintech, and we're going to be talking all about the caravan industry. Welcome, Michael. Thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure, Michelle.
Splendid. So, Michael, we'll kick straight in. You've obviously been running Baintech for quite a period of time. Can you tell us a little bit about the products and services you offer and the industries that you look after?
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. We've changed direction quite a bit over the last few years because originally Bainbridge started out as in the marine industry, and then we developed a whole lot of products which were the Baintech, product group. So after COVID, which we all struggled through, I think we needed to be able to see a little bit of a different direction in what we were doing. We decided because of lack of staff and especially lack of technical staff, that we decided to make some power boards, and it's proven to be very, very successful. We started off very slowly, but we realized that if we made the boards, then for the caravan industry specifically, then that would stop them from having to employ a whole lot of, technical people, especially electricians, which they found very, very difficult to find. So we started with just a couple of caravan companies, and now I think we have about 19 OEMs on the books, some very large, some small, but they're all equally as important. And so we're now stretching our product line out into the canopy section of the four-wheel drives as well. So, and we represent mainly ourselves, which is Baintech, and also Victron products and C-Tech, and we do lots of fusing and so on by a company named Prolec as well. There we go.
Okay, fantastic. And so obviously you've been in the game for quite a while. Tell us what you're seeing in the way of customers. Like, how have customers changed in regards to who's buying the caravans and who's buying the products to go in the caravan?
Yeah, well, look, it's changed. It's changed considerably because around about 18, 19 years ago, I was doing exactly the same thing for caravans, and all we produced was a charger and a battery. And back in those days, I didn't even supply the battery. So basically, I just gave these caravan companies a charger. And then a little while later, people got talking about, what about if we want to use something else? How do we do that? Well, then the inverter came, the secondary product. So therefore, that setup was, battery, inverter, and charger. So, and then it was really, just for the grey nomad. The people in their fairly old caravans, or older in shape more so than old in age. And then we kind of have gradually moved. So now we are actually putting a smart home in a caravan. That's how much it's changed. So instead of one lead acid battery, we can now be putting 6 to 8 lithium batteries. Instead of having one charger, we've got this big inverter charger with solar controllers and DC to DC, and of course solar panels. So, and then the other thing that's changed dramatically too is it's not just for a certain age group. The mature people are still there, but we find now that there's the 30-year-olds up to around about, say, 55-year-olds with children that are just enjoying the caravanning industry so much, but they're also very tech savvy. So they like to have things that they can see. So, we cannot sell a caravan now without either, Bluetooth or monitors that tell you exactly what is happening. What's your state of charge? How much battery power have I got left? How much is solar coming into the caravan, and how much power am I using, so that we can kind of have a bit of an equalization of where things are. So, look, I was, and years ago, the caravan industry, it was for the people who maybe couldn't afford a lot of other things. And they went down to these little caravan parks and they had a great time because everyone got to know each other. The kids got to know each other. And often, people went down year after year. I know some people that did that for 20 years in a row until the kids kind of grew up. But it was funny because a few weeks back I was at a caravan park in northern New South Wales, and it was quite amazing to see who was in the caravan park. So young people with sometimes $400,000 worth of equipment, both in caravan, vehicle, jet skis. They're not there. They're not there because they can't afford a caravan. I can't afford a motel or a hotel. They're there for a lifestyle, and it was absolutely wonderful because there was probably about 90 kids with 90 bikes and mum and dad doing everything with them. And it's like what my age group used to do at 7 a.m. in the morning and then not come home until 7 p.m. And I think that's what they're trying to emulate because, these days the streets aren't as safe as what they maybe were, 50 odd years ago. So things have changed, and I think it was just lovely. I can't wait to get back to this place in Lennox Heads, to be honest, because I had such a great time.
Nice. It's actually quite nice to see that the family unit is going back to. I also was out from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., by the way. We're
Yep.
showing our age, but it is nice to see. So therefore, Michael, if the customers are changing that age group, where, I guess, from a marketing point of view, where are these people hanging out now then? Because if they do have the cash and they do, want all the mod cons of the smart homes basically on wheels, where are you finding them, to tell them that they need to come and buy your products?
I think mainly if you look at all the shows that are happening around Australia, the events usually start in about February and they go right through really until October. There's a little bit of a um, there's a little bit of a quiet period, say from July, August, September, and then it's the end of the year that you kind of, maybe have your specials or try and get a few more, caravans sold. So that's where we like to. We don't usually have a stand. We actually go and support our customers. So my staff go out and will support, Urban, Kokoda, Vibe, Stallion, just to name a few. Lifestyle's another one, here based in Queensland, of course. They're all large companies that are doing lots and lots of caravans per week, per month. So we often see those people. Then we get and you see the different trends that are happening. Also, it's very the market driven part of everything, of course, is done by the customer because they're the ones that come in and say, well, can I have 4 batteries, not 2 batteries? Now we're producing batteries that are 620 amps, and I'm looking at a battery now that it will be 1,000 amps because they need all that power because of induction cooking. A lot of people are going away from gas and now accepting that, induction cooking is a better way of doing it. So they've got their air conditioning, their fridges, their induction cooking, their TVs, their microwaves, their coffee making machines. And really we set up now that we're with Garmin as well, we're able to make all these wonderful new inroads into digital switching so that, if you jump out of bed in the middle of the night, a light will come on and direct you to the bathroom. The steps will come down when you're going out of the caravan. You can change coloured lights. You can do anything you want. It's I think sometimes it's even a little bit smarter than the smarter home because it's in a more, confined area. It's a different world. It's a different world, but an exciting world too. And may I say, mainly driven by females. It's the girls are the ones who. The only thing the girls don't do is pay the money. It usually is left to the guys to write out the check. But really, whether it be from what kind of furniture they want, what style of kitchen, what style of bathroom. I think when the more technical things, probably the male can have a little bit more input. But generally speaking, for years and years, the woman has always been the one who says, "This is the one I want. Just write out the check, please. Thank you."
Well, that's interesting though, because you have mentioned in the past about the older female market sort of really jumping into that caravan space and wanting to travel by themselves. Is that
They
an
do.
area? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got probably 4 companies now that basically 80+% are only sold, whatever they modify, are sold to women. So there's the little pod camper. That's just a one person thing that's easily towed behind a car or a four-wheel drive. Then there's the van style. So they are very, very popular with females, and often too the females form a little bit of a group in themselves. So they go and meet somewhere. There might be 9 or 10. I think there was an article in one of the ABC shows that highlighted that and sometimes they'll do a yearly thing where there's ending up to 300 or 400 females and their vans in a particular spot. So, oh yeah, they because maybe through a death in the family or whatever, the husband's not around, so the girls go, right, I'd love to go and see Australia, and this is how we'll do it, and this is the way we'll do it.
Interesting. That's very interesting. A good trend from a marketing perspective, anyway. And you were talking about trends. I know previously we've discussed the fact that caravans, they've changed so much to look like basically smart homes on wheels. But what other trends are you seeing in the way of, what a caravan or what a getting away adventure trip looks like?
Well, I think really a lot does depend on where one goes. I mean, I kind of try and divide the users of caravans into a few little groups, because there's some that just go for the weekend or maybe a week or the school holidays, and they need a certain amount of equipment.
Mhm.
Usually not as luxurious as others, but then you'll get the people that will go away, maybe early retirement or whatever, and they'll go away for, say, 2 or 3 months. They need a certain amount of power and a certain amount of equipment to go with that, because it's all just, calculated on usage. It's not so much what you like. You can't just go into a caravan and say, oh, I'm going to do this to the caravan, because this may not be what the people want, because of, maybe they've got medical issues, they have air conditioning worries as well, that, we need to be nice and cool. We don't like the heat that much. So therefore we need the air conditioning on all the time. This is the way we're cooking. So, and then of course you've got the people that go away for 6 months or a year or 2 years. And therefore they're the ones that want to be like, this is their home. They may have 2 children, 3 children, and you'd be surprised how many young couples with 2 or 3 kids are out on the road doing the Australian trip. And I had some friends of mine who did that for 18 months, and really their van was really better than their house. So I mean, it's really on a very individual thing, and this is what makes it either, I suppose you could say, a challenge to the OEMs in the caravan industry of what models they're going to bring on for next year, what models are really working for them, what pieces of equipment works for them and for their customers. So often you'll see that one caravan manufacturer might have 3 or 4 or even more styles to their to their whole
Right.
fleet. So I know with one caravan company, we do something like about 15 different boards because of the 15 different styles that they have. And sometimes these people are also being very, very smart, because it's not just for the Australian audience, but they're also selling into the US market. So that makes things just a little bit more difficult, I suppose, of what do the overseas people need, because we are far more advanced here than what the American market is.
So it sounds like, I mean, the biggest thing I'm sort of picking up from that is the fact that your boards, etc., are very customized according to what the customer's needs are and what the caravan's needs are.
Yeah, well, they are. I mean, I think a few years back there were some boards being made, and it was kind of like take it or leave it. Where these days, we have to do special boards for special requirements that OEM manufacturer, needs, because again, he's being dictated to by not only the customer, well, mainly the customers, but often through the dealer as well, because you might get a person that goes to, let's say, an urban dealer, and so they say, oh, what kind of vans have you got here? Oh, okay, well, no, I don't like that. That doesn't fit. Oh, this one's really good. So, and of course, if that happens more than ever, well, then the dealer goes back to see Steve at Urban and says, "Well, hey Steve, this is the most popular van, so let's keep that going." The same with, Kokoda. Now, Kokoda did such a beautiful van last year that everyone is claiming that it is one of the best in the world. It had a complete Victron system, lots and lots of batteries. It had the biggest Garmin Empire bus system, which meant that airbags were being managed, lights were being managed, solar was being managed. I think they had something like 7.3 kilowatts of solar on the roof of this van, and it is highly priced. And so it's not for everybody, but for the ones that have got that style of money, then they just love it. Absolutely love it. And I think in the first week, Trevor sold, I think, 6 at one show. So that just proves there are people out there that really love to be in that style of van, because they might be going around Australia for the year or 2 years.
Yeah.
And it also enables grandparents to take the grandchildren. That often happens. And another area that's coming along now, because we're starting to do that with one company here, is the big trucks, the big 4-door trucks, and then they put a mini kind of caravan at the back. So you've got this big monster truck basically with all the mod cons of a caravan attached to it. So again, 4-wheel drive, off grid. You may not have to go to a caravan park. You can go to other areas as well, where you can just be completely off grid and enjoy the scenery, go anywhere at any time. And I think the other thing that's becoming very popular are the rooftop tents. So we've just started to put one into the showroom, and 2 of my staff members have got them attached to their vehicles. And so really you can pull up no matter where, right along the side of the road, right on the beach, and put these tents up, and away you go. The one I've got in the showroom is a 4-person tent, and it's got a big extra king size bed. So really, you kind of think to yourself, where's the limitation? And there's probably none in that example. You can have your drawers in your kitchens and barbecues, you name it. You can go anywhere at any stage. So it's very exciting. It really is.
It's really changing the face of what, I guess, camping and going for adventures looks like, isn't it? Because you can pop up anywhere. And so how do you feel like the caravan parks for the future might have to adapt or change what they're doing in order to survive if people can just pull up anywhere and pop up their rooftop tents, etc.?
Yeah, look, well, I think when I stayed at Lennox Head, I mean, I was absolutely captivated by, number one, the people, the way they acted in the caravan park. I haven't seen that for quite a while. It was just lovely. I mean, there was a lake on the left-hand side and the beach right in front. So position-wise, you couldn't get any better. And I think, when I drove in, there were quite a few spots for a person just camping. So, a tent and a car. And one of the things that was suggested to me was that they may have to go, because we're trying to maximise the profit and the sales of a caravan park. So maybe those campers need to go right on the beach, because, for this allotment, you can put a caravan, and you may get $100 a night for the caravan, where you may only be getting, a quarter of that price for the camper. So whether that happens or not, Michelle, it's another, you don't know really. There's, sometimes when there's a few suggestions like that, it doesn't take that long to come into force. It'd be a pity, because I think it's nice to see all those people in there, whether it be in a little caravan or a swag, or a large caravan, or a little unit as well, because this place had some really nice units, own private facilities, etc., etc. Everything was so clean. Everything was so well done. Everyone respected everyone. The only thing you had to worry about was the kids on bikes, because they have no limits. They have no limits. You know what I mean? They can just appear in front of your car in a split second. So with the 6-year-old big brother behind saying, "You shouldn't be doing that. Now get out of the road."
Yeah.
But it was fascinating. It really was.
I hope that they don't completely get rid of the tents and the camping and, because for those families, I guess, from the olden days where that used to be their getaway and their family time, and that's sort of the cheap holiday, I hope they, eventually don't knock them out because that would be a shame, really.
No, yeah, but I think we're so lucky that we've got so many places that we can go to. I don't think we'll ever be short of finding a place to go, and especially
Mm,
when you consider the whole of Australia. I mean, we can name plenty of places in Queensland and northern New South Wales, but there's some beautiful places in every state. No matter where you go and whatever
mm,
you want to do, there will always be room either in a caravan park or in an off-grid situation where you just set up, you just set up camp, don't you?
absolutely, absolutely. Particularly, I love camping on the beach, by the way. That's my favorite. So, where do you see then, just to sort of finalize up, the future of caravanning, do you think?
It's a bit of a tricky one. I think
Hmm.
I think we're still going to have the same style of caravans that we have now, where I've noticed with just ordinary cars that the really quite small car is kind of getting a little bit bigger. I noticed the other day the Toyota Corolla, which has always been seen as a small car, the latest shape in the 2026 model is larger with far more features. And I think the same thing will apply to the caravans as it has applied to the SUVs. I mean, you look
Mm,
at the different styles of Land Cruiser. You look at the different styles of all the Chinese cars, the SUVs that are coming into the market now. They're big, they're square, they're powerful. And so I think maybe the larger caravans may just become better equipped with more power. I suppose where it's good for us, for companies that are supplying the power. I mean, it's fantastic because now, we put in maybe two or three 600 amp hour batteries, not one. A lot of people are asking for Garmin as an example or Caravan systems so that they're getting all this information because people love information. I think we're so used to getting all our information on the phone that they want
mm,
to be able to see a screen and say, rightio, okay, I've used 20% of my battery power,
mm,
and these are the things I've been doing. So if I put the air conditioning on, I wonder what will happen. Gee whiz, it takes me down to, 40% in a fairly short space of time. So how am I going to be placed? Will I have enough power the next morning? And so and you can work all these things out. I mean, even on our website and all the things that my caravan specialist, Adrian Henry, he's got a whole big formula of what he shows people at the shows to be able to say, well, if you use all these particular appliances, this is how much power you're going to use. So therefore, let's work out what you want to begin
mm,
with, because
mm,
it's like you can build a new home sometimes quicker than you can renovate a home. And so you're better off knowing all those things first so that then you can plan and you say, right, I need 4 batteries, not 3. I need 6 batteries, not 4. And I need a big inverter charger. Or my solar. I've got to have a lot of solar. So I think that's where it's going. It's a matter of, I think it will just get a little bit bigger as we go along. But I still think there's room for, the vans, the motorhomes. They are the ones that are also
mm.
um, taking traction in that, because some people don't like to pull a caravan. They'd much rather drive. And so therefore, what's happening to that industry as well. I know that, they're being fitted out beautifully at the moment
Mm.
with different power systems. We do one company of motorhomes, and it's how else can we make it bigger? Where's the power coming from? So yes, I think that probably sums it up, Michelle. On I think things will remain to a degree the same, but I think we'll attract bigger power systems along the way.
No retiring for you, Michael.
It's
But
exciting.
thanks.
It's exciting, Michelle. So And it's a great industry. It really is, because don't forget, like our little tagline of, live the good times. That was brought out by that, because we hope that whenever people go away, that they are going to have a great time. And I think that's if you can achieve that in life, then you've won. You're successful.
Agree. Life is definitely better with Baintech, that's for sure.
Absolutely, I agree.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Michael. Much appreciated.
No worries. It's been lovely having a chat with you, Michelle. Thank you very much.